The iPhone 14 series has only been out for a few months, yet rumours are swirling about Apple's next generation of handsets. So let's talk about it. First of all, the big rumour that has been making waves over the last few weeks is the possibility that Apple could introduce an even higher end iPhone than their current Pro lineup. Now, Mark Gurman from Bloomberg has done this reporting, and he thinks that Apple could be about to introduce the iPhone Ultra. Now, this report comes off the back of some very intriguing comments that Apple CEO Tim Cook made at an earnings call a few weeks ago, when he was asked about whether the price tag of the iPhone was sustainable, given that it's now well over £1,000. And he said, "I think people are willing to really stretch to get the best they can afford in that category," noting that the iPhone has become, quote, integral to people's lives. Consumers now use the device to make payments, control smart home appliances, manage their health, and store banking data, he said. And I'm going to be completely honest and completely transparent here. I'm probably one of those people that Tim Cook is talking about. I do not mind spending over the odds to make sure that when it's time for me to get my new phone, I get the best one possible, because the reality is the iPhone really has become an integral part of all of our lives. We use it to make calls, check our emails, check social media, checking on our loved ones, we take photos on it. Heck, I'm even filming this very video on my iPhone 14 Pro Max. You know, it is such an important part of everything that I do in my life, in my personal life and in my working life, and really, I couldn't ask to have a better phone with me to do those things. And so when Tim Cook says that people are willing to stretch to get the best features that they can, I'm pretty certain that a lot of people are in that boat. People want to be able to take the best pictures of their children that they can. There's the one chance they're going to be able to do so. When their kids are younger, they want the best pictures, they want the best camera to do so. I want the best possible mobile video experience, mobile video camera, to be able to make these videos, to make them look as brilliant as they can for you to watch at home. And so when it comes to it, people may look at the price tag and groan, but in reality, they will turn around and say, actually, I want the best experience, I'm going to get the best phone. What's also striking about these comments is that they come against the backdrop of a very poor sales record for the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. Those are the lower end models in the 14 series. Those two phones have not been selling very well at all. Remember, 2 years ago, Apple introduced the iPhone 12 mini, and Apple wanted to cater to an audience of people who wanted smaller phones, yet all of the power that they could. That didn't sell very well. A year later, they had the iPhone 13 mini. That didn't sell well. So in 2022, Apple decided to replace the iPhone mini with the iPhone Plus, and we got the iPhone 14 Plus, which is essentially an iPhone 13 Pro in an iPhone 14 shell. And Apple thought that if you create a larger sized iPhone at a lower price point with aluminium instead of stainless steel and last year's chip instead of this year's chip, Apple thought that that would be a winning combination and more people would opt to get the Plus rather than the mini. Well, it turns out it's not worked out that way at all. Demand for the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max has been sky high. People want the best quality iPhones that they can. People don't want cheaper iPhones. And so Tim Cook here sees an opportunity to capitalize on this. He sees the weak demand for Apple's lower end devices, and now he's thinking to himself, where can we make some extra cash here? Now, when these rumors first started floating a while ago that Apple could be introducing an Ultra model of their iPhone, it was originally thought that it would replace the Pro Max. So you would have a base model iPhone, let's say the iPhone 15, with a 6.1 inch display, OLED, aluminium body. You'd then have an iPhone 15 Pro, which is a stainless steel body, 6.1 inch display again, with a better camera and better chip. But then the Ultra would replace the Pro Max. And so the Ultra would end up having the absolute best capabilities, the newest of the new, even better than the Pro and the previous Pro Max. But according to Mark Gurman, instead of renaming the Pro Max the Ultra, Apple could add an even higher end iPhone above both Pro models, that's the Pro and Pro Max. Internally, the company has discussed doing just that, potentially in time for the 2024 iPhone release. That could certainly drive up prices, but consumers would need a reason to upgrade. There also may be more future-forward features such as finally dropping the charging port. And the charging port is something we've discussed before on this channel. With the move towards USB-C, it looks like Apple will be going towards USB-C, more on that in a moment. So it begs the question, what features can Apple include in this iPhone Ultra that will make it even better than what we have in the Pro and the Pro Max? Is it going to be an even better camera? Is it going to be a faster processor that's even faster than the ones seen in the Pro and the Pro Max? Better screen quality? Could it be dropping the Lightning port entirely, not even moving to USB-C, but having it completely portless? They're going to have to go all out on this thing, because it's not clear to me as yet where exactly they could differentiate between a Pro Max and an Ultra. Could it have a bigger screen, like a 7-inch display? I mean, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is 6.7 inches as it is. It's massive. Could they go to 7 inches on the Ultra? We know that manufacturers like Samsung already have Ultra smartphones in their lineup, and they're pretty awesome. Samsung also has foldable smartphones in its lineup too, and those are around £2,000. So Apple, I suspect, is going to have to charge upwards of £2,000 for this phone. But I'm very curious to see what they do with it in the next couple of years and how it fits into the lineup, because you're going to have the iPhone SE starting all the way at the bottom for like £350, with an iPhone Ultra then all the way at the top for about £2,000. And it's just going to be crazy to see how they manage to differentiate between all these devices. Personally, for me, I think Apple has too many iPhones in their lineup. I think the 4-phone strategy for Apple isn't really cutting it. I think they need to really focus on making their higher end phones the best that they can, but also simplifying the lower end phones. So for the iPhone 15 series, for example, I would have a baseline iPhone 15, which is similar to the iPhone 14. I'd have an iPhone 15 Pro with a 6.1 inch display, OLED, 3 cameras, latest chip, etc. But then I would have on top of that the 15 Ultra, and the Ultra would be 6.7 inch display or even bigger, absolute best camera, absolute best chip, absolute best display, periscope lens, whatever you want to do with it, just go completely all out. But I'd stick with those 3 iPhone models. I think the 3-phone model is the way to go. You have the SE underneath the regular 15, that completes the lineup perfectly. But having 4 flagships, don't think is cutting it for Apple. They need to really focus in on those 3 models, and that's how I think they'll be more successful. But look, it's not like Apple's doing badly as it is. Their sales for their Pro models are doing really well, so Apple, I don't think, is too concerned about the lack of sales on their lower end devices, but I think simplifying the lineup would make things a lot easier. Speaking of simplifying the lineup, let's talk about USB-C. It's the big elephant in the room when it comes to Apple's broader product range. The MacBooks have it, the iPads have it, yet the iPhone does not have it. And it's something we spoke about back in the summer with the whole European Union debacle. Apple now forced to include a USB-C charger in its devices from the end of 24, and it now looks like Apple is going to make that move. They will include USB-C in the next iPhone, launching at the end of this year, but with a caveat. Mac Rumours is reporting that the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro's USB-C port and accompanying charging cables will feature a Lightning-like authenticator chip, potentially limiting their functionality with Apple unapproved accessories, a rumour on Weibo suggests. Now, this specific USB-C port and cable will include something called an integrated circuit interface, which is a series of semiconductor chips used to manage the sharing of information between devices. Since their introduction in 2012, first-party and made-for-iPhone certified Lightning ports and connectors contain a small IC that confirms the authenticity of the parts involved in the connection. Non-MFI certified third-party charging cables, for example, do not feature this chip, often leading to "this accessory is not supported" warnings on connected devices. Now, this IC interface provides a twofold benefit for Apple. One, it means that all third-party accessories that have this chip will need to give Apple a cut on all sales that they make, so Apple makes money out of this program. But more importantly for consumers, it means that any third-party accessories that you buy, which are certified by Apple, will not be counterfeit, so you'll know that they're secure. And this is a way of ensuring that anything that's counterfeit is spotted automatically by the user, because when you plug it in, it will say this accessory is simply not supported. However, at the moment, it's unclear if this addition could have any major implications for the functionality of the new devices, but it's possible that Apple could limit features like fast charging and high-speed data transfer to Apple and MFI certified cables. So we'll have to see how this rumour plays out, but I think most people will be happy at the fact that iPhones will be getting USB-C this year. It's been a long requested feature. Everyone wants USB-C on the iPhone. We have it for all of our other devices, so Apple bringing it to the iPhone at last, no matter what the transfer speeds are, I think will be a welcome addition for most people. Woo!